If you've ever felt emotionally trapped or even manipulated by someone, it can be a devastating experience. No matter how hard you try to maintain control, a narcissist has the power to mess with your emotions in a way that feels impossible to escape. They know exactly how to make you question your own reality, and this, unfortunately, is one of their most powerful weapons. Now you might be wondering, how can I break free from this emotional trap? How can I get my inner peace back and, more importantly, regain control of my own life? The answer lies in Stoic philosophy, an ancient wisdom that could be the key to overcoming emotional manipulation from a narcissist and restoring your emotional strength. I know you might think that Stoicism is something distant or difficult to apply, but let me show you how it can be more practical and effective than you think. Imagine for a moment, you're in a conversation with a narcissist. They begin to criticize you, belittle you, distort the facts to put you down. What do? Most people would react emotionally. They get angry, anxious, or even blame themselves for the situation. But what if instead you were able to take a deep breath and step back? What if you could see their words and attacks as something that doesn't define you? This is what Stoicism teaches you. Don't let other people's behavior define how you feel. It's about maintaining emotional control and not getting swept away by their provocations. It's not about ignoring your feelings or becoming cold. It's about not being controlled by them. Let's talk about the first essential principle of Stoicism: cultivating emotional strength. Emotional strength is not something you're born with. It's not something you can simply wait for to happen. True emotional strength comes from self-awareness and control over your reactions. When you begin to realize that you can't control another person's behavior, but you can control how you respond, you start to become immune to the narcissist's power over you. This ability to respond calmly, with reasoning, is your first line of defense against emotional manipulation. And if you ask yourself, but how do I do this when the pressure is so high? The answer lies in practicing self-observation. Before reacting, ask yourself, am I reacting impulsively or am I responding consciously? This simple question can give you the necessary space to choose a more balanced reaction without being carried away by anger or frustration. Now imagine that you start to see the situation differently. When a narcissist attacks you, you don't see it as a threat, but as an opportunity to apply Stoic philosophy. Adopting the Stoic perspective means questioning the narcissist's distorted view and not allowing it to enter your mind. They might try to convince you that you're inferior, that you have no value. But the truth is, this is their view, not yours. Here's the key. Stoicism teaches you to challenge those distorted views and not accept everything others say as truth. When you distance yourself from the narcissist's words, you begin to see reality in a clearer and more balanced way. And that gives you power over your emotions and how you feel. Now think for a moment. How many times have you felt emotionally drained, as if you were being dragged down by someone? The practice of indifference is the next step in regaining control. Don't attach yourself to the narcissist's desires or provocations. This doesn't mean you should be cold or insensitive, but it means you don't need to engage with their negative energy. When the narcissist tries to make you feel inferior or question your own identity, the Stoic practice teaches you to stay detached. This isn't about ignoring the pain, but about not allowing it to control your life. It's an emotional detachment that allows you to remain at peace no matter what the other person does. But the truth is, detachment isn't easy. The pain of being emotionally manipulated by a narcissist is real, and we shouldn't minimize that. The key here is acceptance. Accepting that, even though the narcissist behaves in a cruel and selfish way, that does not define you. Stoicism teaches us to accept reality as it is. When you can accept the narcissist's behavior without aligning with it, you free yourself from the emotional prison they try to build around you. Acceptance doesn't mean complacency. It doesn't mean you should accept being mistreated or submit to their behavior. What acceptance means is not fighting against what you can't change. It means you no longer waste time and energy trying to change the narcissist. You accept that they are who they are, and you choose how to respond to that reality. I know it can be difficult. I know the temptation to react emotionally and get involved in the struggle can be strong. But remember that every time you stay calm and balanced, you gain a little more control over the situation and over yourself. And when you start applying these Stoic principles, emotional strength, perspective, indifference, and acceptance, you begin to become stronger. You start to restore your peace of mind, and more importantly, you free yourself from the emotional grip of the narcissist. Their control over you diminishes, and you begin to live your life with emotional autonomy. Now, imagine a scenario where you're in a difficult situation, being attacked by a narcissist. But instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you simply stay calm and respond in a thoughtful manner. Imagine how not only this weakens the narcissist's power over you, but also strengthens your position. By applying Stoicism to your life, you not only protect yourself emotionally, but you also start to transform into a stronger, more balanced version of yourself. And this, my friend, is true emotional freedom. When you begin to see the narcissist's attacks as opportunities for personal growth, instead of as threats, you will begin to live in a way that many consider impossible. And the good news is that you already have everything you need to begin. Stoicism is the key to unlocking the power you have within. Com base na sinopse que você forneceu, eu posso te ajudar a otimizar esse conteúdo de diversas maneiras, seja para vídeos, posts de blog ou outras plataformas. Vamos criar títulos, descrições e tags para otimizar o alcance. Aqui estão minhas sugestões. Títulos para vídeo ou artigo. 1. Sensacionalista. Como derrotar narcisistas usando filosofia estoica, o guia definitivo. 2. Informativo. 4 estratégias estoicas para enfrentar narcisistas e recuperar sua paz interior. 3. Intrigante. Você está se deixando manipular? Use o estoicismo para restaurar sua paz com narcisistas. Descrição otimizada. Descubra como lidar com narcisistas sem perder a calma ou sua paz de espírito. Neste vídeo-artigo, exploramos como a filosofia estoica pode ser a chave para superar manipulações emocionais, manipulações de gaslighting e provocações de pessoas com transtorno de personalidade narcisista. Aprenda as 4 maneiras poderosas de aplicar o estoicismo para cultivar força emocional, adotar a perspectiva correta, dominar a indiferença e praticar a aceitação. Não se deixe controlar. Seja mais forte, mais calmo e emocionalmente equilibrado. Conheça os ensinamentos que podem transformar sua abordagem diante de narcisistas. Tags relevantes. Narcisismo. Filosofia estoica. Como lidar com narcisistas. Estratégias contra narcisistas. Fortaleza emocional. Gaslighting. Autocontrole. Como enfrentar manipulação emocional. Psicologia do narcisismo. Paz de espírito. Aceitação e controle emocional. Narcisistas e estoicismo. Autoajuda narcisismo. Dignidade e narcisismo. Perspectiva estoica. Força emocional. Recuperação emocional. Indiferença estoica. Desapego emocional. Mentalidade estoica. Mamornal. Sugestões para próximos vídeos ou artigos. 1. Como o estoicismo pode ajudar na gestão de relacionamentos difíceis. 2. Gaslighting. Como reconhecer e superar manipulações emocionais. 3. O poder da aceitação. Como aceitar a realidade sem se deixar afetar. Textos para thumbnails. Vença narcisistas com estoicismo. Recupere sua paz agora. Controle suas emoções, saiba como. Essas sugestões são pensadas para otimizar a busca do seu conteúdo, atrair o público certo e engajar com aqueles que buscam ajuda para lidar com narcisistas e manipulações emocionais. O que acha? Alguma sugestão ou ajuste que gostaria de fazer? As you start applying Stoic principles in your interactions with a narcissist, something remarkable begins to happen. You stop reacting out of emotion, and instead, you begin to act from a place of inner calm and reason. The narcissist's power over you diminishes, not because they change, but because you've stopped engaging with their manipulations in the way they expect. You've stopped feeding the beast. But let's be honest, This is not easy. It's easy to get swept up in the narcissist's emotional whirlwind. They are often incredibly skilled at what they do, using tactics like gaslighting, emotional manipulation, and playing on your deepest fears. In moments of conflict, they can make you doubt your own worth, question your perceptions, and feel like you are the one who is wrong. That's why it's crucial to have a solid foundation of emotional resilience. Think of it like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger you become. The key to building this emotional muscle is mindfulness, a core Stoic practice. Being mindful means being fully aware of your thoughts, your feelings, and your reactions. It means being conscious of the moment and choosing to respond intentionally, rather than being controlled by external events or people. So how do you practice mindfulness in the heat of the moment when faced with a narcissist's attacks? It starts with awareness. The next time a narcissist tries to provoke you, take a moment to notice what's happening inside of you. Are you feeling triggered, angry, hurt? Acknowledge these feelings, but don't let them control your actions. Instead, take a deep breath, center yourself, and choose to respond with clarity and calm. This is where the concept of perspective comes in. Narcissists often have a distorted view of the world, seeing themselves as superior while belittling others. But your perspective doesn't have to be shaped by theirs. By taking a step back and looking at the situation from a Stoic point of view, you start to see things for what they really are. You begin to understand that their attacks are not about you. They are about their need for control, validation, and power. They may try to use your insecurities against you, but when you see their behavior for what it is, you no longer feel like a victim. You understand that you are not responsible for their actions, and their attempts to manipulate you are more about their inability to handle their own insecurities than about you. This shift in perspective is crucial because it allows you to detach emotionally from their behavior. You no longer feel personally attacked. Instead, you see their actions as a reflection of their internal struggles, not your worth. This brings us to another critical Stoic concept: indifference. It's easy to get caught up in the narcissist's need for attention and validation. They thrive on your reactions, whether it's anger, frustration, or even giving them the attention they crave. But here's the powerful secret: indifference is your superpower. When you practice indifference, you choose not to react to their provocations. You choose not to get involved in their drama. You stop giving them the emotional energy they seek, and this is when their power starts to fade. Think of it like a light that loses its brightness when you stop shining a spotlight on it. Their attempts to manipulate you lose their effect when you remain emotionally detached and unresponsive. Now let's take this a step further. What happens when you stop reacting emotionally to a narcissist's behavior? What happens when you begin to accept their behavior without internalizing it? Stoicism teaches us to accept the things we cannot change, and this includes the actions of others. The reality is that the narcissist will likely continue their behavior, but you don't have to engage with it. Instead, you accept it as part of their nature, without letting it dictate your emotional state. Acceptance doesn't mean you agree with their actions. It doesn't mean you let them mistreat you. It means you stop allowing their behavior to control your emotions. You take the power back. You refuse to be drawn into their drama, and instead you focus on your own peace and emotional well-being. This acceptance can be incredibly freeing because it removes the pressure to fix the narcissist or make them change. You stop wasting energy trying to change something that's beyond your control. The only thing you can control is how you respond. And when you stop resisting the reality of the narcissist's behavior, you gain a sense of peace that allows you to move forward with confidence and emotional resilience. But let me ask you this: how many times have you felt drained after an interaction with a narcissist? How many times have you left a conversation feeling confused, angry, or even ashamed of yourself? Now imagine the opposite. Imagine walking away from an interaction with a narcissist feeling calm, collected, and even empowered. Imagine no longer feeling the need to defend yourself or prove your worth. This is the power of applying Stoic principles. Imagine how freeing it would feel to no longer feel emotionally manipulated. Imagine being able to step out of the emotional chaos that a narcissist creates. and instead, standing firm in your own truth. This doesn't mean the narcissist will suddenly respect you. It means that you no longer need their validation to feel worthy. By practicing stoicism, by cultivating emotional strength, adopting a clear perspective, practicing indifference, and accepting reality for what it is, you begin to create a life where you are the one in control of your emotions, not the narcissist. And the more you practice these principles, the stronger you become. Eventually, you'll find that the narcissist's hold over you weakens. You'll find that you are no longer emotionally tied to their behavior, and you will have reclaimed your peace of mind. This is not just about surviving their attacks, it's about thriving in the face of them. As you start applying these Stoic principles in your daily life, something profound begins to happen. You realize that you are no longer at the mercy of others' behaviors. You're not trying to change the narcissist, nor are you dependent on their approval. Instead, you are grounding yourself in your own truth, your own values, and your own inner peace. This is where true empowerment comes in. The power of Stoicism lies in the fact that it shifts the focus from the outside world to the inside world. Narcissists try to pull you into their chaos, but when you are grounded in your own principles, you stop getting sucked into their games. You realize that the only thing you have control over is your response, how you react, how you think, and how you hold your own emotional space. This is incredibly important because narcissists thrive on chaos. They need emotional reactions from you to feed their sense of control and superiority. When you stop reacting, their tactics start to lose their power. They might try harder to manipulate, but the more you stick to your Stoic practices, the more their manipulation tactics will bounce off of you like water off a duck's back. You become a mirror to their actions, reflecting nothing but calmness and emotional neutrality. One of the hardest things about dealing with a narcissist is their ability to make you feel like you are the problem. They might twist your words, distort the truth, and make you feel like you're overreacting or even crazy. This is where the practice of perspective becomes incredibly valuable. The Stoic practice of reframing situations helps you see the truth behind the narcissist's words and actions. Next time a narcissist tries to pull you into an emotional trap, try to step outside of the situation for a moment. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is really going on here? Try to see beyond their manipulations and remember that their behavior is about their needs, not yours. They might be trying to control the situation or reaffirm their superiority, but that has nothing to do with your value or worth. The more you reframe the situation, the more you'll see that their behavior is not personal. It's just a reflection of their insecurities and emotional immaturity. This shift in perspective makes it easier to detach from their actions. You'll start to recognize that their attempts to control or manipulate you are less about you and more about their own limitations. And here's something important to realize. When you stop internalizing their attacks, you regain your own personal power. You stop giving them the emotional energy they crave. You stop feeling drained, and instead, you feel stronger, more in control, and more resilient. It's like building a force field around your emotional space. By adopting a Stoic mindset, you can begin to see the narcissist's behavior as just noise. It doesn't have to affect your peace of mind. It doesn't have to derail your day, your self-esteem, or your sense of self-worth. You are the one who chooses how to respond, and the more you choose calmness and clarity, the less impact their behavior will have on you. Now let's talk about something powerful: acceptance. In Stoicism, acceptance isn't about giving up or resigning yourself to a bad situation. It's about accepting reality as it is, without wishing it were different. When you accept that the narcissist will likely never change, that they will continue with their manipulative tactics, and that their ego will always need constant validation, you stop resisting. And in that non-resistance, you find your freedom. Acceptance allows you to stop fighting battles that you cannot win. It helps you recognize that the narcissist is operating from a place of deep emotional wounds, and their behavior is rooted in their own struggles, not in something you've done wrong. When you stop trying to change them or prove them wrong, you free yourself from their emotional grip. Instead of feeling angry, frustrated, or hurt by their behavior, you can look at them with a sense of compassion, not for their actions, but for their pain. And this doesn't mean excusing their behavior. It simply means understanding that their need to manipulate and control is driven by their own internal struggles. This understanding allows you to keep your emotional distance and refuse to get pulled into their games. With acceptance, you can let go of any lingering hope that the narcissist will change or suddenly treat you better. You can stop waiting for them to validate you or acknowledge your worth. And when you do this, you start to feel lighter. You begin to take back control of your own emotional state. You stop relying on their approval for your sense of self-worth. Now let's talk about an important aspect of this process: the impact it has on your overall well-being. The more you apply Stoic principles to your interactions with a narcissist, the more you cultivate peace of mind. You stop feeling stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed every time they push your buttons. Instead, you become more centered, grounded, and emotionally resilient. This inner peace will spill over into all areas of your life, from your work to your relationships to your general well-being. As you become more skilled at managing your emotions and responding to the narcissist with Stoic principles, you will notice that your self-esteem and self-worth begin to grow. The narcissist's ability to diminish your sense of self fades away, because you no longer base your self-worth on their approval or validation. You become rooted in your own value, and this is where your true power lies. Ultimately, the more you practice Stoicism, the more you will find that you no longer need the narcissist to change in order to feel peace. You can find peace within yourself, no matter how they behave. And as you continue to apply these Stoic principles, you'll notice that your emotional state becomes less and less dependent on the people around you. You start to feel free from their control and manipulation, and this is the gift that Stoicism offers: the ability to reclaim your own emotional autonomy. As you journey deeper into the practice of Stoicism, something extraordinary begins to unfold. You realize that you are no longer giving your energy away to the narcissist. Their words, their actions, no longer have the power to derail you or affect your inner peace. Instead of reacting emotionally to their provocations, you start responding with clarity and calmness. This shift in response is what makes the Stoic approach so powerful. At first, it may seem like a battle between your natural instincts and the Stoic mindset. The narcissist may provoke you, trigger your emotions, and even try to make you doubt yourself. They might accuse you, blame you, or try to gaslight you. But the more you practice Stoicism, the more you'll learn to detach from these emotional traps. Instead of reacting impulsively, you begin to take a step back, observe the situation, and choose a more measured response. The beauty of Stoicism is that it teaches you to focus on what you can control. You cannot control the narcissist's behavior, but you can control your own reactions. When you shift your attention to your own thoughts and feelings, you stop giving the narcissist the power to control your emotional state. This is a game changer. Narcissists thrive on getting emotional reactions from others because it feeds their ego and validates their sense of superiority. But when you refuse to play into their hands, they begin to lose their grip on you. It's important to remember that the narcissist's behavior is not about you. It's about their need for control, their insecurities, and their lack of emotional maturity. Their actions are driven by a deep void inside them, a void they try to fill by manipulating others and gaining power over them. But you don't have to take their behavior personally. You don't have to internalize their criticisms, insults, or emotional games. By applying the Stoic principle of indifference, you begin to protect your peace. You stop allowing the narcissist's actions to upset you. You recognize that their behavior is rooted in their own pain and insecurities, not in your worth or actions. This realization gives you the freedom to remain detached from their emotional drama. When you stop reacting, the narcissist loses their power to manipulate you. The more you practice this detachment, the more you'll notice that you feel lighter, more at ease, and less emotionally drained. You stop feeling like you're walking on eggshells, trying to anticipate their next move or manipulate them into changing their behavior. Instead, you start living for yourself, responding to situations in a way that aligns with your values and emotional well-being, not based on someone else's manipulations. As you continue to adopt Stoic practices, you'll also become more adept at setting healthy boundaries. Narcissists often try to blur the lines of respect, pushing you to tolerate behaviors that are unacceptable. But the Stoic approach teaches you to be clear about what you will and will not tolerate. You learn to stand firm in your convictions without getting caught up in a power struggle with the narcissist. This is the power of self-respect. It creates an invisible but unbreakable barrier between you and the narcissist. In addition to detachment, perspective plays a crucial role. As you look at the narcissist's behavior through the lens of Stoicism, you begin to reframe their actions. Instead of seeing them as a personal attack, you recognize that they are simply acting from a place of ego, insecurity, and emotional instability. When you understand that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth but rather a reflection of their inner turmoil, it becomes much easier to maintain your emotional distance. The practice of acceptance also comes into play here. When you accept that the narcissist is who they are and they may never change, you stop trying to fix them. You stop hoping that one day they will recognize their flaws or see things from your perspective. Instead, you accept them for who they are, and in doing so, you free yourself from the unrealistic expectations that often lead to disappointment and frustration. When you accept the narcissist's behavior for what it is, you are no longer emotionally invested in trying to change it. This acceptance creates space for you to focus on what really matters: your own emotional growth, peace, and well-being. It's not about resigning yourself to a toxic situation. It's about recognizing that you have the power to choose how you engage with it. You choose not to be sucked into their drama. By applying Stoic principles, you begin to realize that you don't need the narcissist's approval. You don't need them to validate your worth or confirm your perspective. You are enough as you are. Your self-worth is not contingent on their approval or recognition. This is incredibly freeing. When you stop seeking external validation, you create an inner sense of self-sufficiency that is immune to the narcissist's attempts to manipulate or control you. And here's the real breakthrough. The more you let go of the need for validation from the narcissist, the more you can start building your own self-esteem from within. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself or justify your actions. You understand that your value comes from within, and the more you embody this, the less the narcissist can diminish it. As you continue practicing these Stoic principles, you will start to notice profound changes in your life. Your emotional resilience grows, your inner peace strengthens, and you become less affected by the narcissist's antics. You no longer feel like a victim of their manipulation. Instead, you stand tall in your own truth and strength. The narcissist might still try to push your buttons, but it won't matter as much. You'll know exactly who you are, and you'll be unshakable in your sense of self. You won't let their behavior define you. You become the master of your emotions, no longer at the mercy of their drama or emotional abuse. And in this freedom, in this peace, you will find a sense of empowerment that is beyond anything the narcissist could ever take from you. You will be free to live your life on your own terms, focusing on what truly matters: your happiness, your peace, and your emotional well-being. As you move forward in your journey with Stoicism, something powerful begins to take shape within you. You start to notice a shift in how you view not only the narcissist but also yourself. In the past, you may have questioned your own worth or felt guilty for standing up for yourself, especially in the face of the narcissist's relentless manipulation. But as you embrace the Stoic principles more deeply, you begin to develop a stronger, more resilient sense of self. This newfound inner strength doesn't come from fighting back or attempting to change the narcissist's behavior. It comes from the simple yet profound realization that you have the power to choose how you respond. You no longer feel like a victim of their manipulation. Instead, you feel empowered, grounded in your own beliefs and values. This is what Stoicism does for you. It allows you to take control of your inner world no matter how chaotic the external one may be. It's tempting, of course, to react with anger or frustration when the narcissist crosses boundaries or tries to belittle you. But when you respond with these emotions, you give them exactly what they want: control over your emotional state. They thrive on this. But when you choose not to react impulsively, when you choose to stay grounded in your Stoic practice, you begin to regain control over your life. You no longer feel like you're caught in their emotional web. The more you practice these principles, the more you'll notice how much less power the narcissist has over you. Their insults, their manipulations, their emotional games, it all becomes irrelevant. You start to realize that your peace of mind is not something that can be taken from you. You may not be able to control the narcissist's actions, but you have complete control over how you respond to them. Think about the last time the narcissist tried to push your buttons. How did you react? Were you emotionally triggered, angry, or upset? Now imagine responding with calm, with detachment, with an understanding that their behavior is not personal. This shift in perspective is not only freeing, but also deeply empowering. When you realize that their behavior says more about them than it does about you, it becomes much easier to let go of the need for validation or approval from them. At the heart of Stoicism is the idea that we cannot control other people's actions, but we can control our own reactions. This is the key to breaking free from the narcissist's grip. When you stop reacting to their provocations, when you stop giving them the emotional energy they crave, they lose their ability to control you. You become impervious to their manipulations. You become strong in your own sense of self-worth. And here's something incredible that happens as you embrace these Stoic principles. You stop being at the mercy of external circumstances. You realize that your happiness and peace don't depend on the narcissist's approval or validation. They no longer have the ability to dictate how you feel. This shift in mindset allows you to step into a place of emotional freedom. You are no longer a prisoner to the narcissist's whims or emotional abuse. This freedom is liberating. You can begin to engage with the world around you with a sense of detachment, not because you don't care, but because you are no longer emotionally dependent on the reactions of others. You're free to be yourself, to live authentically, without the constant fear or worry of what the narcissist might do next. You understand that your peace is yours to protect, and no one, especially not the narcissist, has the right to take that from you. You might find that over time, the narcissist begins to lose interest in trying to manipulate or control you. The more you stand firm in your Stoic practices, the more they realize they no longer have the power to affect you. This is when the tables start to turn. The narcissist might try to provoke you one last time, hoping for a reaction, but instead, you respond with calm indifference. You refuse to engage in their drama, and in doing so, you've regained the upper hand. You've taken your power back. And while you may never be able to fully change the narcissist or make them see things from your perspective, you can control how much influence they have over your life. The more you practice Stoicism, the more you'll realize that you have all the tools you need to remain unshaken, no matter what they throw your way. You learn to trust yourself, trust your instincts, and stay grounded in your own truth. By using Stoicism to challenge the narcissist, you begin to break the cycle of manipulation. The narcissist no longer controls your emotions, and as a result, they lose their grip on you. You gain the ability to respond from a place of wisdom and emotional resilience, rather than reacting from a place of fear or anger. This transformation is not only liberating but empowering. You start to see the world and your relationships in a new light, one where you no longer allow toxic influences to dictate your emotional state. As you continue this journey, you'll find that your emotional resilience grows stronger with every challenge. You learn to see the narcissist's behavior for what it is, nothing more than an attempt to maintain control. And as you master the Stoic mindset, you'll find that you are no longer bothered by their attempts to manipulate or belittle you. You've learned to live in alignment with your values, not in reaction to the narcissist's needs. This is the essence of emotional freedom. You no longer have to chase after the narcissist's approval, and you no longer need to fight their battles for them. You've learned to protect your peace, set boundaries, and stand firm in your self-worth. You've learned that your worth is not defined by anyone else. It's a powerful realization, one that will help you lead a life of emotional resilience and inner peace, no matter what the narcissist throws your way. By continuing to apply Stoicism, you become a force of emotional stability. You no longer bend to the whims of the narcissist, nor do you fall victim to their tactics. Instead, you move forward with a sense of calm and self-assurance. And as you continue to grow stronger, you'll realize that you have the power to create your own emotional reality, free from the manipulation of others. As you move forward in your journey, you'll start to see how much your life changes. The narcissist no longer has a hold on your emotions. You're not shaken by their manipulations or attacks. You've learned to detach from their toxic behavior, and in doing so, you've reclaimed your peace and emotional stability. But this journey is not just about surviving the narcissist. It's about thriving in spite of them. As you continue to apply Stoic principles in your daily life, you'll notice that your relationships, your career, and your overall outlook on life improve. You're no longer at the mercy of other people's opinions or emotions. You've taken back control of your own. Remember, the narcissist's behavior says nothing about your worth. It's a reflection of their own inner turmoil and inability to connect with others on a real, meaningful level. Their need for validation, their manipulation, it's all a cry for help. But you, through the wisdom of Stoicism, don't need to be the one to respond to that cry. You don't need to fix them or change them. The only person you need to focus on is yourself, your own growth, and your own peace. As you continue practicing Stoicism, you'll grow emotionally stronger. You'll stop looking to others for approval or validation because you'll already have everything you need within you. You'll learn that your true power lies in your ability to choose how you respond to the world. And no one, not the narcissist, not anyone, can take that away from you. You are now on a path to becoming unstoppable. Your emotional resilience will only grow as you apply these principles in your life. And every day you'll feel more empowered, more grounded, and more in control of your own life. Narcissists, toxic people, manipulative behavior, they'll try to come at you, but they'll have no effect. You'll simply observe with calm and peace, knowing that your emotional freedom is yours to protect. Ultimately, this journey isn't just about navigating the world with narcissists. It's about taking control of your own life. By embracing Stoicism, you've equipped yourself with a framework for living a life of inner peace. No matter the chaos that surrounds you, you are no longer at the mercy of other people's behavior. You are in charge of your own emotions, your own actions, and your own path forward. And as you continue to grow and evolve, you'll find that the narcissists and toxic people who once dominated your life will have less and less of an impact. You'll stop needing their approval, stop reacting to their attacks, and start living life on your own terms. This is the power of Stoicism, the ability to live a life that is yours to shape, regardless of who tries to stand in your way. Your peace is in your hands. You've learned how to master your emotions, and that will be your greatest strength. Now go forward with confidence, knowing that you are emotionally free, that you are stronger than any narcissist, and that you have the power to create the life you want.